Hello and welcome to a special edition of Android Weekly. This session we're going over the Lumia 1020. Do you want it? Do you want a 41 megapixel camera? Let's see. Alright, so the big thing about the Lumia 1020, of course, is the camera. Literally almost the entire conference went around the camera revolving. So much so that they actually got in trouble a little bit at the end on the Q&A session, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So for the 1020, it is a 41 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization and a lot of going to that camera. I mean, they talked about the sensor. It's of course Carl Zeiss lens. It has a xenon flash, so that basically you can take really quick night shots and you won't get blurry. You have an add-on now called Nokia Pro Camera, which is kind of a ripoff of the Samsung Galaxy Camera Pro. I mean, it looks almost exactly like it, but it can do some things that one didn't do the same, so it's a little bit different. But it just seemed like a kind of a copy when I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's like the Galaxy camera. However, certain things that are important to note about it too, besides the camera, is that it's a 4.5 inch screen, 1280 by 768 display. They call it a Pure Motion HD Plus display, and of course it is AMOLED display. So Samsung's making the screen as well as the Gorilla Glass 3. So you have both of those two on there. In terms of dimensions, it is lighter comparing to the 920, but heavier compared to like the 925 that's going to be available on T-Mobile. So it's kind of in the middle. In terms of specs, nothing to write home about, but Windows doesn't really need that fast specs, to be fair. So it does have a dual-core 1.5 Snapdragon S4 processor, so that's the same processor that the 920 had. 2 gigs of RAM, again the same. 32 gigs of built-in storage, which is really nice, which kind of will need for a 41 megapixel camera. And 2000 milliamp battery, which is of course really nice to have that built in. Now, other than that, the phone, it really geared towards the camera. I mean, just in their conference, they kept going on about that. Of course, AT&T is becoming partnered with it. So in the US, we're going to be getting it from AT&T on the 26th. And pre-orders will start on July 16th. Now, the main thing that really got to me about this was the price point. The price point is too much. It is $299. And for a phone to be $299, you really have to set yourself apart like the Note did, where you have like the longest battery life in the US, you have split screen, you have a lot of cool features. And yes, while this camera blows the Note 2 out of the water, it's not gonna be just, I mean, that's pretty much it, just the camera. At the end, they had two Q&A things, with the first one being, they said, well, besides the camera, how do you hope to compete with the Galaxy and the iPhone? And the CEO kind of gave a real PR-ish kind of answer, like, oh, well, we're offering, and they talked about like Nokia Maps and Drive and Here and all these things, but things that are not that special really. I mean, offline maps is cool, but Google, you can make offline maps. I don't know if you can do that in Google Maps and iOS. I forget if you can do that in that or not. But it's just like, we've had offline maps already. I mean, that was great when it first came out, but it was quickly changed with Google doing that as well. So things like that are just, I feel like he really didn't have much, because really the entire conference was about the camera. So that was just one thing. And the second thing was, that a lady complained about AT&T's customer service and the reps not knowing about the Lumia. And the good thing is that Nokia rep did stick up for AT&T. He's like, no, that's not their fault, that's actually our fault. Because instead of making, being another manufacturer to make a popular OS, aka Android, device, we decided to go with a new ecosystem, a third ecosystem. And that is true. It's really on them to make the reps knowledgeable and then pass that down. But you know, they obviously didn't do it with the 920, so are they going to have more support with the 1020? Maybe. They did say there's going to be a lot of marketing because you have 3 companies putting their money together in marketing, which is Microsoft, which obviously has the biggest pockets, Nokia, and AT&T. So there's going to be a lot of marketing behind it. I guarantee you'll see a lot of it. But is it enough for the $299 price point to pass over both the Galaxy S4 and the iPhone 5, which are obviously selling more compared to any other phones out right now, and that are for $199? That's debatable. They did, of course, you know, with all their photos, they did take jabs at the Galaxy and iPhone. I like how they did say, oh, this is on their automatic setting, and even though they changed their Lumia to certain shots, they didn't change the S4 or the iPhone to certain shots. It's just a little, you know, marketing, but that's the way it is. The one cool thing that I did like, that I thought was pretty innovative with their, it was their add-on, and that is a Nokia camera grip. So the nice thing about this is basically you can kind of picture this as the cases with built-in batteries, like the Mofis and all these other cases, but it also has a battery grip besides that, so it makes it easier to hold and to take photos with besides that. And it's $79, so price-wise it's about on par with those other batteries. And it offers a 10-20 milliamp battery, so that's about half of the battery life of the phone itself. So yeah, that's the Lumia 1020. What do you guys think? I don't know. I was not as much impressed by it, but I mean, great camera, really just amazing camera, but as a phone, I was hoping they would introduce something else to the Windows ecosystem that we hadn't seen yet. Which wasn't, and besides, you know, having a Flipboard that they're getting on board, which is really cool, you know, they're catching up on that, as well as getting another app that allows you to post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Obviously that's big because there's still no native Instagram app. So those are the kind of things that we have to look forward to with the Lumia 1020. What do you think? Please leave me your thoughts down below and let me know. I really want to try it out. I'm hoping to get one myself so we can compare this to the iPhone 5 as well as the Galaxy S4. Let me know what you guys think. This has been RECKY, the Android Guy.